guys, Sarah here from Recovering Book Hoarder, and today is day 1 of Historathon. I'm going to be vlogging through Historathon. Each week I'm going to do a new vlog. So this first week I've decided I'm going to focus on 3 books, and then the last 3 weeks I'll be focusing on 2 books each week, since there's a total of 9 that I want to read. So this week I'm going to focus on finishing The Yellowbird Sings by Jennifer Rossner. This is the group read for Historathon. Then I'm also going to focus on The Underground Railroad by Coulson, Whitehead. This is for the prompt of no people on the cover. And then the last one I'm going to focus on, and this is the one I am the most excited. Oh, I should also say, the reason I'm doing this week 1 is because we're also reading this over on Krista's Discord server for her Patreon, Krista from Books and Jams, and I want to be able to start discussing this. Okay, but the book that I'm most excited to read for this entire readathon is The Yellow Wife by Siddika Johnson, and this is for the prompt of a diverse author. So this is going to be my focus for this week. I will check back in this evening after I read at least the beginning of each of these books and let you know how things are going. Okay, so my first update. I don't know that I properly thought through my list because these 3 are very heavy, very good, but very heavy. I'm definitely going to have to read some other stuff in between because, I've looked at the rest on my shelves and there's only 2 on there, maybe 3 of them where the subject matter isn't so. And I'm afraid if I don't put some other stuff in with this, that it has the potential to put me into a depression. I mean, wow. Okay. So, the one I read only 1 chapter of is The Yellowbird Sings. And it's piqued my interest. Not as much as the other 2 has so far. So this will be, I think, the last one I read in the week. Because I'm going in order of the ones that I think that I couldn't put down first. Then The Yellow Wife. I read the first 3 chapters from this one. Definitely has my interest piqued. But it's The Underground Railroad that I couldn't put down after I started reading it. So I am about to start part 3, which is 75 pages in. Whew. This is heavy. It is graphic. Left me pretty speechless at this point. I would not have survived. I could not have survived. I could not have survived being a slave. Not even a question. It is just horrific. The fact that people could even come up with the things that they did to slaves, not even just punishments, but just the everyday kind of stuff. But then the punishments, oh my goodness, the punishments. And whenever they were going to kill somebody, when they were going to kill a slave, it was not a matter of just killing them and putting them out of the misery they were already in. They were horrifically tortured first. So that's what I'm reading right now. We have made it to the railroad piece, and it's really interesting seeing a train for the first time through the eyes of someone who has literally never seen a train before. And then just trying to think to myself, like, what would that be like to see a train for the first time ever? And I can only imagine that it would have been awe-inspiring. So that is where I'm going to stop with these for tonight, because I have some other stuff for my TBR that I need to read for my buddy reads, and just to put some one of them is cast, so that's another heavy read, but one of them is more of a fairy tale, so that's what I'm going to do for the rest of the night. And maybe some Misery by Stephen King. Something to say that compared to what you're reading, that Misery is more of a light book. So that's where I'm at for today. So that wraps up my day 1 of Historathon reading, and I will check in with you guys tomorrow. Okay, so day 2 of Historathon, and I have decided to focus on the Underground Railroad and the Yellow Bird Sings. Later in the week, hopefully I'll get to the Yellow Wife. The reason being that the Yellow Wife and the Underground Railroad have similar subject matter, and they share a character with the same name. So I'm afraid of getting them confused, which I don't want to do. Now, my thoughts on these books. So for the Underground Railroad, I read 3 more portions, and the way this is set up, there's different parts. And so like the first part is much shorter than the part that's after that. So it's like the odd numbered parts are much more brief than the even numbered parts. And the odd numbered parts are about a specific person, whereas the even numbered parts are about where the main characters are location wise in their journey and what's happening to them there. The Underground Railroad, we are at a portion where we're reading a lot about uplift dissuasion, which happened in the South with slaves. I mean, it happened in the North too. And it was where the goal, I'm going to do a really bad job describing what it is, but essentially the goal was to teach Blacks the things that the white people know and that are important to white people, and that would make them more esteemed to white people. And if you read the book Stamped from the Beginning, Ibram X. Kendi does a really great job of explaining why uplift dissuasion was not the best tactic to take. In any case, we get that in here. We also start to see how white people have a version of what slavery looks like and what has happened to Black people, and that it is a much more romanticized version than what has actually taken place and what slavery actually looks like, and what coming over to America on a ship actually looked like. And shows to how, you know, we have done that for a really long time in America. We have this rose-colored glass over history a lot of times. I feel like for many years we have looked at the atrocities of the Holocaust without the rose-colored glass, and really looked at it and have seen what happened and truly happened during the Holocaust, those atrocities. But for the longest time, that didn't happen with the Black experience. It was romanticized in literature, and in movies and I'm not and in things like that. It's only been much more recently that we've taken a much harder look at what truly happened at those atrocities. So that's where I'm at with this book right now. And I think they're about to take another trip on the Underground Railroad. So let's see, I'm on page 145 of a little over 300 pages in here. So almost halfway through that one. The Yellow Bird Sings. This one is taking place in Germany. And there is a mother and a daughter who are on the run. The little girl's father was forced to dig a trench and stand in front of it and was shot. And he fell into his grave. And then we found out that the grandparents who they had lived with, they were raided, they were taken, and the mother and the daughter just happened to lock out and escape initially and make it on the run into this farmhouse. I am a little over 100 pages into this, and you know, it takes place, I think they call it like a closed door book, where at this point everything is taking place in a loft in a barn. And in both of these books, you were like, all I can think is humans are capable of such evil. And the concept of helping someone to help someone, as opposed to finding something in it for you, as opposed to finding something in it for them, I guess I should say, doesn't happen often. Altruism. I've said from the time I was in college, I was majoring in sociology, and I learned about altruism. I've always said altruism does not exist. And I know that that's not always the case. It's just such a rare thing. Altruistic people are very rare. In this book, you've got your two main characters, and then two other characters are like coming in with them. One of them has definitely found what's in it for him, and then another one really does come across as much more altruistic in her motivations. But both of these books are just so heavy, and all I can say is thank goodness that March is middle grade March, because I'm going to make sure that I read books that are just not heavy. I mean, seriously, Misery right now, Misery by Stephen King, is the lightest book I'm reading. I mean, seriously, it's crazy to say that. So that's where I am with these books right now. So hopefully tomorrow I get some more written. I'm gonna have to read some other stuff. I'm also reading Strange the Dreamer right now, which is it is not as heavy as these. Still not a joyful book, but does have the kind of atmosphere that I like in my reading. Somebody had told me that it was similar to the atmosphere from The Starless Sea, and I do get those kind of vibes from it. It's not as good as The Starless Sea, at least not at this point, but I'm still enjoying it. So that's okay. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with the Historathon. So I will check back in tomorrow. Night. All right, so today is Wednesday, and I only got to read The Underground Railroad today. Got through 2 more parts. Got through North Carolina and Ethel. So I have 3, 4. I have 5 more parts left in this book. I am on page 201 of 313. So working through here nicely. I forgot to say yesterday, ran into some forced sterilization in here. Forced sterilization and some purposeful mating. That's what I'm going to call it. Like making sure that only the Black people that you want to procreate actually procreate. Reason being that there was the fear that that Black people were going to outnumber white people, and if that happened, then there was sure to be a insurrection. So that was discussed yesterday, and I forgot to bring that up. So, you know, there's just so many parallels between what we did in the United States and what happened in Nazi Germany. It's just that it went on. Was it in here? Might have been in The Yellow Wife that I had read. Or no, it was Caste. In Caste, I'm reading so many books that are very similar. In Caste, it talks about the fact that slavery and everything that went along with that went on for 12 generations in America. Whereas the Holocaust did not last nearly that long. This section was pretty depressing. Again, the violence in here it's graphic. There's some pretty graphic violence. There's also a part in here that reminded me of, I think they called it the Freedom Trail, and it was just a road that went miles and miles and miles and was lined with Black people that had been hanged, murdered, whatever. They were like, I'm not sure if they were like hanging or if they were impaled. I'm not 100% sure, but it reminded me of back in the time that Jesus was around. Whenever they did that, the Romans did that with crucifixes. They would crucify people. They would crucify Christians. I guess it was I'm not sure if it was like 40 BC. I can't remember exactly when. But they used to crucify people all the way up and down to scare other people and prevent them from acting in ways they didn't want them to act. Same thing happened on Game of Thrones too. And that one was related to slavery too. And then Daenerys, Khaleesi, turned it around on the slave masters, and then the slave masters were the ones that were killed and put up for display for everyone to see. In any case, my main character has run into quite the snafu at this point. So that's where I'm at. Hopefully I can get through another 2 parts tomorrow and maybe be able to finish this up Friday so I can finish the other 2 at some point. I don't know, but okay, that's it for today. All right, I won't talk to you guys tomorrow. All right, so it is Thursday, right? Is it Thursday? Wow. Yeah, it's Thursday. I'm sure. Gosh, it has been a week. It's been a week. So I did finish The Underground Railroad by Coulson Whitehead, and it was a 5-star read. Okay, for Co-Pal, it was a 9.71. So characters got a 10, atmosphere 10, writing 9, plot 10, intrigue 10, logic 10, which sounds crazy since there's some like stuff in here that wouldn't seem logical because there's, you know, the Underground Railroad is actually a railroad. However, I feel like he truly kept this steeped so much in history, and it was a very well-researched fiction. So anyway, so yeah, but it, even for a plot, or I'm sorry, not for plot, for your logic, it got a 10. And then entertainment a 9. So 9.71, that's really high. So 4.86 rounded up to a 5. Like I had said before, this was very heavy. It was a heavy read. However, and I should say it was heavy, and it never exactly got like joyful at any point. I mean, it was heavy up till the very end. And the kind of like one of the last main places our main character was at was definitely my favorite of everywhere she had been, and I could just so clearly picture it in my mind. And yeah, I think this was definitely deserving of the Pulitzer Prize. So this was for a book with no people on the cover. No. I did discover, after looking much closer, that there are these like 2 really little, I don't know if you can see them or not, these 2 really little people on here. So I could like flip-flop this with Wolf by Wolf and say that the subgenre from this is Black literature and Wolf by Wolf is the one with no people on the cover. But I'm just going to say they're so small that like you can hardly see them. They remind me of like the little army guys, the green army guys. So I'm just keeping it as that on my bingo board. But know that I did actually read one that I could flip-flop it with so that I'm not like cheating. It was an honest mistake. Honest mistake. In any case, I am very happy that I read it. And so Thursday, okay, so that leaves me, I'll probably finish The Yellow Bird Sings. Yeah, I'll probably finish The Yellow Bird Sings tomorrow and The Yellow Wife then on Saturday. So, all right, that's my Thursday. I'll see you guys tomorrow. It's Friday. I'm not happy right now. I just finished The Yellow Bird Sings by Jennifer Rossner. I don't know if you can tell I was crying. The book ended what I have been waiting for since the start of part 2, I think is what it was. I just cannot believe where the book ended. It would have been a 5-star read for me. But the book ended like a chapter too soon. And I feel like I'm so mad. I am so mad. I don't understand how the author could end where they did. I just don't even know what else to say. The book was very good until the very end. I mean, you're on a forward journey through the whole thing. And the author does really well at giving you that, like, almost like a sense of being oppressed. I mean, that's how you feel while you're reading it too. And constantly feel like you're just waiting for the next shoe to drop. And I'm sure that that was the intent. Please excuse the noise, my daughter. I told her to be quiet and she's not. In any case, this would have been a 5-star read. It really would have. If it weren't for where the book ended. I just can't understand how an author could do that. That's how I feel right now. I'm done. So tomorrow, hopefully, I will finish The Yellow Wife. We'll see. All right. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow night. Bye. All right. So it is Saturday. It's the end of the week. And I finished all 3 books that I had intended to read this week. So today, finished The Yellow Wife by Siddika Johnson. And this was really, really good. I'm pretty sure that the jailer from this is my new least favorite, most hated character of all time. He was horrific. Absolutely horrific. At the end, though, there's like an author's note, and you learn that this book is very much steeped in history. That she was inspired by real events that she learned about on a trail during a vacation. She said, "This book is a work of fiction, and all the characters are from my imagination, intuition, and alignment with spirit. It was inspired by the story of Mary Lumpkin and Lumpkin's jail in Richmond, Virginia. I first discovered Mary Lumpkin in the spring of 2016 by accident." Let's see, she was, her husband and her kids took a walk along the Richmond slave trail. And as they were going through and reading the markers, that's where she got her inspiration from. And it started making her think about the people that they talked about along that trail and their motivations for what they did. And yeah, it was really good. It was a 5-star read. This is definitely an important read. This was a heavy week. It was a heavy week, but it was a great reading week. I mean, I had 2 5-star reads and 1 4-star read just from the Historathon alone. So, all right, end week 1 of Historathon. I will see you guys for week 2 Historathon vlog next week. I haven't decided what I'm going to read yet, but I think I'm going to read The Dollhouse by Fiona Davis and The Charm Bracelet by Viola Shipman, because I don't think those 2 are going to be as heavy as the ones I read this week, and I need like a refresher. I need something refreshing. So anyway, all right, guys, how did your first week of Historathon go? Did you finish anything? Did you have any of these reads? I know that a lot of other people are reading The Yellow Wife too, so I would love to hear what you guys think down below in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Bye.